I've been working this year to fill some holes in my Regency wardrobe, and since the baby is now down to only one nap a day instead of two, my free time is extra limited. So I wanted to see if I could make some projects that could be completed in a short amount of time. Specifically, one baby nap, or about 2 hours. So if you are looking for some easy costume accessories you can make the morning before your event, here are some simple projects that each can be made in a couple hours or less. If you're not experienced in millinery but still need some headwear, you're in luck because there are many Regency style straw bonnet bases available online for you to decorate. This is the Lucy bonnet from Ostentation. I mainly bought it because I liked the inspiration photos, especially this famous French portrait from 1795. And full disclosure, I actually re-sewed the very top of the brim here because I wanted it to be more rounded like the portrait, and it was a little tall originally. I'm not counting that alteration as part of the 2 hours. To mimic the portrait, I bought a couple different green ribbons. First, I'm tacking down the narrow ribbon across the crown and down the sides. The tails will become ties. I'm alternating between a curved millinery needle and a regular needle. This isn't very complicated, you just want to secure the ribbon enough so that it doesn't slide around. And if you have some extra time, you can cover your interior stitches in the crown by adding a linen lining, but since I'll be wearing this with a cap, I'm not gonna bother to add it. Next, I'm using this satin ribbon to wrap the crown, and it's actually a little wide for the height of this crown. I still want some of the straw to peek through, so I just folded it under a little bit where it meets the brim and tacked it down. And by tacking, I mean like one stitch every couple inches. This is not the detailed tiny stitch work that you would do on a garment. To hide the raw edge in the back, I folded under the cut end and whipped it in place. It's hard to tell how the bows on the hat on the portrait are shaped, but I'm going to take inspiration from the bow at her waist and make 4 looped bows with some tails. I cut a few lengths of ribbon, forming loops, then gathering the loops down the center. I also cut another length of ribbon and gathered it down the center to make a tail. I painted the edges like in the portrait, and because this satin ribbon really wanted to fray, I added some fray check. Is it historically accurate? No, but I bet they used something on their ribbons to prevent fraying. My money is on gum arabic because they use that stuff for everything. Then I stacked 2 loops and a tail on top of each other and quickly tacked them together. Finally, I sewed the bows to the hat on either side of the front, again trying to mimic the look of the painting. There might be more to this hat, but it's hard to tell with the lighting. Is this some kind of small feather or jewel? Is there something on the side back here? I don't know, but bows are good enough for me. Finally, I put the hat on, tied it, and trimmed the tails. This next project is an easy piece of jewelry that was in every Regency lady's wardrobe. A coral bead necklace. I actually already have a single strand necklace that I've made, but this time I wanted to use up a bunch of seed beads left over from an unfinished chain and bead project. And for this you'll need coral or coral-esque beads. These are red plastic, but they look good enough. You can use tiny beads or larger ones. You'll also need something to string your beads on. I'm using buttonhole twist thread because it's strong but small enough to fit through these little beads. You'll need some kind of clasp. And you'll need a needle. Or not, you could just string them by hand. I decided the easiest way to string these beads would be to start from scratch, as my thread and needle wouldn't fit through the beads while they were still on the original string. Stringing these tiny beads seems slow, but it really didn't take very long, especially once I decided to just hold the beads in my hand instead of on the table, although it's harder to keep my hand in the frame. It's even harder to tie a knot while keeping your hand in focus. I decided to make a 3-strand necklace that's a little bit looser than a choker. This length was most popular, but you can find longer versions. You can use lighter colored beads, but the bright red tone was a favorite of the era. Obviously, if your beads are bigger and you're not doing 3 strands like I am, you can easily tackle this project in like 15 minutes. What shall you do with all that extra time? Maybe make a pair of earrings or a matching bracelet. Regency jewelry often came in sets, so you could wear as much or as little together as you want. Can't find red beads that you like? Pearls were also fashionable, and it's easy to find decent looking fakes if you're on a budget. Fun fact, my first faux coral necklace I made doesn't even have a clasp. It's just strung onto some stretchy thread. I don't even think that counts as historically adequate. The last project is a reticule, or a tiny handbag in which to carry your Regency era iPhone. Mine is 3-sided with a pointed base. It's fully lined and has a rope handle. And yes, to do this in 2 hours, we're going to sew it by machine, but that's okay because most of this stitching won't be visible from the outside anyway. I won several small pieces of silk that is a prize at a party, so I'm going to use this pearl beaded white fabric for the outside and this baby pink silk shantung for the inside. They're both a little too slubby to be historically accurate, but I'm trying to make a purse in 2 hours. I don't have time to sweat over slubs. I'm also interlining the purse with leftover cotton organdy to give the bag some body, and I'm drafting my pattern piece directly onto the organdy. Draw a rectangle that's 19 inches by 13 inches. The short ends will be the sides and the long ends will be the top and the bottom of the bag. On each short side, mark in a 1/2 inch for seam allowances. Now divide the rectangle into thirds by drawing 2 vertical lines 6 inches apart. Now mark the center point of each section at the bottom. Next, mark 4 inches up from the bottom along those vertical lines and connect those marks to form 3 bottom points. And finally, mark off your seam allowances on either side. You should end up with a piece that looks like this. Use that to cut out your fabric. You can speed up cutting by using a rotary cutter or by stacking your fabrics together and cutting them all at once. I have to cut off some of the pearls that will end up in my seam allowance, otherwise they'll get stuck in my presser foot. On the right side of the lining, mark down 3 inches from the top edge, then another 3/8 inch down from there. I like using this friction pen because I can just iron over it and the mark will disappear with heat. This will be your drawstring casing guide. Now it's time for sewing. On the outer fabric, stitch the 2 side edges of the lining together with right sides facing and a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm sewing the outer fabric and the organdy as one piece. Do the same for the lining, except you want to leave 2 gaps in the stitches. One between the marks for the drawstring casing, and a bigger one, about 2 inches long below that. We're going to use that hole to turn the bag right side out later. Then sew the side of the point that's closest to the side seam, again with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This next part is a little tricky, but you'll sew the bottom of the bag by putting the points together like this. It makes most sense to me to sew each side of the pointed bottom individually. Do this for both the lining and the outer fabric. Now we're going to insert the lining into the outer fabric right sides facing, so the raw seam allowances will be visible at this point. Match those side seams together and keep your seam allowances open. Match the top edges and stitch all the way around at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Remember that big hole in the side of the lining? you want to pull the entire bag through that hole until it is right side out. Depending on the thickness of your fabric, this might be a little tough. Just be gentle and patient. Now find that big hole again in the lining. We need to close that up. If you're speedy, you could do this by hand, but I'm just going to sew it quickly by machine. Since it is inside the bag, no one will see it. Just be sure you don't accidentally close up the other hole for the drawstring. Now you can stuff the lining back into the bag. From there, give that top edge a good pressing, although if you're like me and you used a friction pen to mark your casing lines, don't iron over that part, or those lines will disappear. Finally, sew the 2 drawstring casing lines. This is the only stitching visible from the outside, so if it really bothers you, you can sew it by hand, but when the bag is gathered up, you don't really see the stitches. Almost done. I am using some narrow polyester cord that I bought a long time ago for some other project. I don't even remember at this point. I'm hooking a safety pin onto one end of the cord to thread it through the casing. The cord and the pin both have to be small enough to fit inside the casing. You have to feel for the safety pin inside the fabric and scoot it along until you reach the other opening on the other side. Once the cord is fully threaded, I cut the cord to a comfortable length and tied the ends together. What's great about the Regency period is you can dress up a plain gown in so many ways with accessories. You don't need to make a brand new dress for every single event. You can just change your look with a few added pieces that you can make while your toddler naps. I'm glad I have a new bonnet that I can use as an alternative to my only other Regency bonnet I've ever made. I'm really glad the other 2 projects involved using only things from my stash, so I didn't have to buy anything new. And I also can't believe that I have been doing this costuming thing for so many years, and I've only just now made a reticule. Like, what have I done with all of my stuff at events until now? Thank you for hanging out with me as I make these projects. Please subscribe if you would like to see more costuming content in the future. I am debuting a new Regency gown in my next video, one that I recreated from a museum original, so if you would like to see that, hit that bell. Until next time, happy sewing.